Hello, and you are listening to the Book Was Better podcast, the podcast where we talk about the book of the film. I'm Luke.
And I'm Brett.
And this week we're talking about Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
The Secret Files junior novelization.
Hey you, put down the popcorn and turn on the light. It's gonna be alright, my friend. In the end, take my hand. Trust me, the book was better.
I love how, right off the bat, they're kind of couching our expectations. Oh, this is the Secret Files. This isn't a novel, per se. This is just a whole bunch of documents inside a manila folder. It might be joined with the theme, might not.
That's it. Forget your pissy little novelizations of movies. This isn't. This is an artifact. It's a series of documents that take you deep inside exactly where you need to be to figure out what's going on with the film.
Yeah, you know, and your mileage may vary as to how all these disparate documents actually add up to the thing that you end up seeing.
Yeah, especially that shopping list. That was a bit weird.
Well, yeah, there were a few odd clippings and stuff in there. Absolutely. Disney. Now, I love Disney. Disney's been very good to us, and Disney owns all my favourite things.
Yes, and mine.
From the Pixar films to Marvel to Star Wars. They've got it all now.
Indie Jones, everybody.
I have my total allegiance to Disney. Okay. That said, they create the shittiest and audaciously shitty novelizations.
It's a competition now, isn't it? Seriously.
No, they really are the worst of the worst. And this is episode 136. We've read a lot of novelizations by this stage, but they are the shittiest. And it's not necessarily even because of the quality of the writing.
No, the writing's not bad.
It's okay. It's there.
Yeah.
It's recognisable English words arranged into sentences. But for me, it's the fact that they give you a small percentage of the film. Mm-hmm. Now, a novelization should really tell the story of the movie.
Yeah, from start to finish. Absolutely. Not here's Act 1, which is summarising stuff. Here's Act 2, which is building a conflict. Act 3! Yeah, go and watch the movie.
Not there. Yeah.
No.
So these things come to a screeching halt. The first time it happened was a Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, I think it was. It just ended. I hadn't seen the film. No. I was like, he's going to go and find the Fountain of Youth? Great. No, not in that book, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
It just ended. So, that was horrifying. I was shocked. Mm-hmm. Since then, I've realised, this happens all the time.
Yeah, man.
You never get a confrontation with the villain.
No, this is their marketing point.
It's usually them going, he knew that next time he faced off against such and such, he would bring them to justice, and he would not rest until you bought a ticket and saw it
exactly
in the cinema. It's not enough that you bought the book.
No.
Because, look, I don't want to be this should be like this, that should be like that. But most stories, I believe, should have a beginning, middle, and end.
Oh, I think that's just axiomatic, isn't it?
Yeah, you can mix those things up. You can do a bit of a Tarantino. Put the end first if you want to.
Absolutely.
That's
There's
fine.
Some great books like that.
But give me those three things.
They've got I agree. It's not a book unless you have all three elements there.
Got to have that.
Yep.
This is a portion of the story. So if you think, wow, these guys are really dwelling on that first half of the film.
That's not us, man.
This is going to be a 3-hour podcast at the pace they're going because they haven't even got up to this bit or this bit or this bit or this bit. I'm just saying, might not be there.
Rest assured, it'll end after about an hour and 20 minutes.
It's not going to be around for long, actually. No. It's a bit of a mess. So let's see what they did put in. Let's try and get our head around it. It's great that we're doing Winter Soldier with you, Brett, because you very much know the history behind these characters.
Yeah, man, this is my wheelhouse. This is what I love.
Just like Courtney likes to try and dispel the bad science in Planet of the Apes. I'm hoping that you'll have some information about these characters.
I've got a few bits and pieces up my sleeve.
A little bit of trivia to pad out this book, which can really afford some padding.
Yeah,
there is
like Santa suit type padding, I reckon, is what you need for this one.
This book is one skinny Santa, so if we can get some
size 0 Santa,
extra
perhaps
padding in the belly there, that would be really good.
Definitely.
And this Secret Files junior novelization, it took 2 people to piece this
people?
thing together.
Wow.
2 people to empty their pockets of
My goodness.
pieces of paper and compile them into a book.
Wow.
This is Alison Lowenstein, who I couldn't find any other real credits for.
Oh.
And Tomas Palacios. And he adapted Thor: The Dark World and Guardians of the Galaxy, and I assume that those are heavily truncated as well.
Yeah, he's got the formula down. He was the one that said to Alison, "Don't put that in."
So, Alison,
No, that's too far into the movie. No.
you're reaching too
What
hard.
are you doing? That's right.
Work smart, not hard.
Yes.
So, I don't know, what was your feeling going into this?
I was pretty excited and intrigued by the whole thing because this is a Marvel movie that is pretty much a political thriller.
Yeah.
Like the guys going in said, we've got all our inspiration from the 70s political thrillers, a bit of Woodward and Bernstein, a bit of The Falcon and the Snowman. We really want this to be a 70s style political thriller couched in the Marvel Universe. So for a junior novelization to tackle such a big topic, I think it's going to be interesting. Like, how dumbed down are we going to get so the youngsters can understand that everything important is in this manila folder or that data drive, not the other one?
Yeah, and I do recall the Falcon being in this. Not sure if the Snowman made an appearance.
No, I don't think he did.
Maybe in the
No.
deleted scenes.
Yeah, I think so.
It'd be pretty fantastic.
He's melting.
You ever seen Cap deflect a carrot with the shield? Very, very impressive.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
And God, those coal
Smacks
eyes
out the coal.
just stare into your soul, don't they?
Mate, Nick Fury just shits himself when he sees those eyes.
He sure
Like,
does.
That's how he lost his eye.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
He got
yeah.
a carrot stuck in
Carrot stuck in it. Yeah.
So, there's a prelude here.
Yes. Love preludes. And this is so good straight away, man. Like you said, this isn't a book. This is a document. We get a memo
Yes.
written for us to the reader to bring us in straight away.
Actually, us here.
Us.
Yeah. So we're actually an active participant
We
in
are.
this book.
We're S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, man.
So it says, the memo begins, to S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and then the name is blacked out.
That's right.
I had to peek, held it up to the light. Pretty sure it said Luke Cameron Milton.
Well, my version definitely said Brett.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So-
without a doubt, that's us.
Yeah. It was an ebook. I don't know how I held it up to the light.
I charged up the backlight of the iPad. And
Yeah, I did that too. That's right. I just remembered.
That's right.
It's from Agent Sitwell, and the subject is The Winter Soldier. And this is what he has to say.
During our investigation, we recovered the following top secret files. These records have been obtained through S.H.I.E.L.D's most advanced form of spy technology, nano camera and sound recorders, security cameras hacked by S.H.I.E.L.D. personnel, as well as recorders hidden in plain sight in objects like pens, watches, phones, and computers, to name but a few. After careful consideration, no piss farting around,
Yeah.
we have agreed to allow you limited access to these documents.
Do you think there's a nano camera in Black Widow's shower head? This would explain so much.
I would sure hope so.
My favourite S.H.I.E.L.D. initiative was Project Fappening, which happened a little while ago.
Yes.
A lot of people didn't realise what their pens actually contained.
No, that's right.
A simple pen in a cup on a
Yes.
desk managed to capture all sorts of crazy
Very
imagery.
nice things, yeah. And
Yes.
especially when the pen was dropped and
Yes.
people are leaning down to pick it up. They were the ones I really liked.
I love this, clutching at straws here, assuming the straws may also have hidden cameras
cameras,
inside
of
them.
course.
But this idea that, okay, we've set up the premise, this is a collection of files.
Yep.
These are memos, these are documents, but then they have to tell the movie. So you have to imagine in some kind of, what was that movie, Bowfinger sort of scenario, that these entire events were secretly filmed
Yes.
in order to tell us about them.
That's right.
So that whole time, everything was being,
So is this Captain America 2 or The Truman Show 2?
yeah, it wasn't a doorknob, it was a camera.
No, it was a camera, that's right.
Everything
Yeah.
was documented.
Yeah, it was.
And then this whole thing, we get Sitwell's actual autograph,
Yes.
Agent Sitwell, in the back. His autograph isn't worth much, I don't think, if you look at it on eBay.
No. Couple of cents.
I'm kind of, he's the villain. He's the villain. He's a bad guy.
He is one of the baddies. Yeah.
So why are we doing what he wants us to do? That does not sit well with me. Yeah.
Nice.
I tell you.
Very nice.
I know, he's got one of those names, hasn't he? Like Shitwell.
Shitwell, that's
Shit
right.
smell.
Yeah. Shitwall.
Oh, yeah.
This is what rugby league players do a lot.
Yeah. No, so, yeah. That's all a little bit ludicrous to me.
Yeah.
All right. So you often, your style when you approach these is to break it down in chapters.
Yeah, I like to do that, just to give us a bit of structure.
Is that the case?
Around meandering. Well, no, we don't get chapters in this book. We're S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, man.
No, that's true. We are.
Uh-huh.
We've been sworn in.
Nano cameras, all of that. We
Yep.
get briefings.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, this
How
is
exciting.
fun.
What
Yeah.
fun. What larks, Pip.
What-o?
So, briefing number 1 is called The First Avenger. And it begins with this quote here.
Wars are fought with weapons, but are won by men. Now, that was one General Patton who said that.
Very inspirational.
I thought so.
Wars, of course, also pretty much started by men. Who commit all manner of
That's
horrible atrocity
Cleaned up by men later
against
on.
their fellow men.
Yeah, that's right.
The world was at war, and America was sending all its young men off to fight. Everywhere you went, you could see posters of Uncle Sam asking Americans to take their parts in the battle. Steve Rogers, a scrawny and sickly kid from Brooklyn, just wanted to be a soldier, but his poor physical health prevented him from enlisting. It was, syphilis?
Yeah, fallen archers, syphilis.
Yep.
Yeah, and just scrawny, sickly,
Too skinny.
too skinny. Looks like he ate out of a garbage can. No, not interested.
You'd think he would be harder to hit with a bullet.
Well, that's right.
Very
The scrawnier
narrow
you are-
profile.
Yeah, he could hide behind fence palings, perhaps.
Just slip in between bits of wire and fences. I think he
Yes.
sounds like an asset. I just don't think they're trying hard enough. But no, scrawny, sickly.
They want big, tough, rough men who can take a bullet, damn it.
Yes, that's
Keep
true.
on running. That's right. And so this this briefing,
Yes, briefing.
pretty much summarises the whole first movie. So it's kind of like reading the IMDb page,
Yes, very much so.
but it focuses a little bit more on Bucky. I don't know why. I'm not sure why Bucky tends to be the
Why is
focus in
Bucky
this one.
important in this Winter
Because
Soldier
he's just
film?
some dude, yeah. But it's all about Bucky is Steve's mate, and they go to a show together, and they enlist together, do everything together. Steve rescues him at some point from the baddies, but poor old Bucky dies.
Yeah, and that, for me as a reader, I go, how did he die? Like, I'm very curious. And this book, though, it's got zero time for such wasteful details as how Bucky died. Instead, we get this sentence.
Sadly, Bucky perished while fighting the enemy.
He perished, much like a carton of milk left out on the counter. Bucky perished. That's
Yes.
why, Steve was frozen for so long. He was like, I'm not perishing.
He
like
said, I'm not going
this
to perish
guy.
like that. Yeah.
Put me in the fridge.
I'll be the long life milk. Thank you very much. Very cool. And there is a good description in here, and it echoes back to the moment in the first film where the scientist is talking to Steve, and Steve... It tells you why Steve and Captain America are so great. And Steve asks the scientist, why did you choose me? And we get the classic piece of Zen philosophy. A weak man understands and respects power. A strong man will not. He will use his power in vain. A weak man has knowledge of strength and compassion.
We also get a nice description of what's holding Peggy Carter back here
Yeah,
as
poor
well.
old Peggy. Yeah.
She might not have been weak, but she was a woman. Women were supposed to stay home, but Peggy Carter was like Steve and wanted to help. She could maybe help by running the vacuum around.
Doing some dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one wants to come home from war to a messy house.
Not a messy house, no.
Briefing 2, first encounter.
This was my first bit of disappointment in the book. Because
First of many.
Yeah, well, yeah, and these are briefings.
Yes.
So you would expect that they're in past tense.
That they might commit to the premise that they presented a couple of pages ago.
Which was really exciting. But no, it just switches now to regular old present tense, just like any sort of movie. And now we are just watching the film.
Yeah, but to be fair, nano cameras.
Of course, nano cameras.
The first trickles of morning light reflected on the Washington Monument, casting shadows over the city.
There was a camera in the monument.
Yes, and the sun.
And the sun.
As the people of Washington, D.C. awake from their slumber. I've noticed a lot in American movies lately. There's about 3 in a row I've seen where it says, like, you go to London and you're looking at, like, Big Ben and the Tower of Britain and all this stuff, and it says London, comma, England, like, flashes up on the screen.
Yes.
It's like, I feel like every movie that changes location now does that.
Has to tell you.
And I don't know why. I don't think they used to do that all the time.
No, they didn't. No, that's a really good call.
And it's London, England. So that we go,
that's where
England,
Big Ben.
that's where London is.
That's why they're eating chips.
I know there are other Londons, but, like, not with
Big Ben.
Big Ben, yeah.
No. Although
That's
London,
your clue.
West Australia's got a pretty fucking big clock.
Well, yeah, there's always an exception that proves the rule, and just happens to be in our backyard.
That's right. Yeah.
Sam Wilson made his way through the desolate streets. Besides the footsteps of this early riser athlete, a silence enveloped the political centre of the United States of America. Yeah, that for me starts to sound like, oh, hang on, wasn't this a junior novelization? Briefings and stuff? No, apparently not.
No. And so Sam Wilson is the Falcon.
Will be.
And he will be. We'll find all about that. And so we and Steve meet Falcon at the same time, although Falcon sort of meets Steve. And it
takes him a really long time in this book to figure out who the identity of this incredibly famous man, who also just superhumanly lapped him 100 times.
Yes.
And they have this conversation. I'll be Sam. 58th Pararescue, Sam stated, but I'm working at the VA now. You?
Army, the man replied.
The Army, Sam thought. Where'd you serve?
Europe, mostly.
Sam gulped. America hadn't been at war in Europe since the 1940s, and then it hit him. The runner had to be the world-famous Captain America.
It had to be.
Now, remember Avengers? Little film called Avengers. Remember at the end of that film, and this book does remind us later as well,
it does.
Aliens. It was our first encounter with aliens.
And they came through the portal.
Aliens came down in New York, very public. It was on all the television stations.
Oh, yeah, it was.
It was. Everybody saw this.
That's true.
You would think we would know the faces and names of it. And look, I know he wears a mask.
Surely they're celebrities.
He wears a mask about 10% of the time.
Yeah.
We've seen all these faces.
True.
This is a guy that has trading cards.
Yeah.
He's on, like, cereal and stuff. We should know who this is. It shouldn't be like, Europe. Oh, well, if it's Europe, then, you know, that'd be like getting some, like, little piece of trivia about Tom Cruise and then finally going, hang on.
Yes.
You're Tom Cruise, because you just talked about...
You danced in your undies once on
film.
film.
A couch to a trampoline. So you must be Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that's right. It's really bizarre. But in fairness to Sam, he was overseas for a while.
And he is legally blind.
And,
you would hope.
Yeah, of course.
He's suffering a massive head injury at this point.
He is indeed. And so we get the bit. Sam mentions that he was overseas for a while and missed out on the last season of Lost. And Steve doesn't get the gag. And we get that cool little joke that I loved in the movie. And that still works really nicely here, where Steve says, I'll put that in my list, and pulls out the notepad and writes down.
So Sam looked over, wondering what Steve thought he had missed when he was frozen in ice. Soundgarden, Thai food, Star Wars, to name a few. And of course, this was a regional thing. We got an Australian list, which had, what did it have, like the Wiggles?
The Wiggles, Vegemite,
Tim Tams.
Did it
have Skippy, the bush kangaroo?
I think it did have Skippy, yeah.
Missing a really obvious thing. Should have been Wertho.
Oh, of course.
Best bloody actor in Australia, if not the world. So that was a bingo, maybe even on there as well.
It should have been Sam plus bingo forever.
Wertho, bingo,
fucking oath.
Rocket Zod.
Yep, bloody oath. And, I mean, they're all pretty cool. Like, I agree, they're pretty cool things that Steve wants to catch up. That's pretty good. I don't know, man. Like, if he wants to really learn about America, there's a few essential items I reckon he needs to have on there. Jerry Springer Show.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton playing the sax and then denying having sex with Monica Lewinsky. Jim Morrison, the epic arc that he had from megastar to fat, broken down hack, flopping his dick out everywhere. Then the fat, over-the-hill dickhead in Paris, you know. Bill Hicks comedy routines, they're like the essence of the 1980s. And reality TV, like Honey Boo Boo.
Perfect. What about the fat dick in Paris Hilton as well?
Yes.
I would like to add. I reckon The Cosby Show, Pauly Shore, Columbine, 9/11, bum fights, Donald Trump, and that time KFC made the sandwich, which was bacon and cheese in between 2 pieces of chicken.
Oh, yes.
All great American accomplishments
Absolutely.
that Steve should definitely catch up on.
Yeah.
Then Black Widow, she turns up.
For the first time in the film.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is the chance. You've got 2 authors here. Here's your chance. Describe the amazing Scarlett Johansson. You know, it's a great entrance for a character.
Oh, yeah.
And the 2 of them get their heads together.
Yep.
This is what they come up with. Suddenly, a sports car pulled up and an attractive woman with dark hair and sunglasses popped her head out the driver's side window, which she doesn't do in the film. She's not a dog. She's not Marmaduke sticking her head out the window with her tongue hanging out.
Yeah, trying to sniff the air.
Also in this book, Sam Wilson does not get jokes.
He is a dumb ass. She asked the men, "Do either of you know where the Smithsonian is? I'm here to pick up a fossil." Sam looked past her to the museum, which was just across the street. Does she not see it right there, he thought?
Drax was not this literal. And then this bullshit happens as well, which isn't in the film. In the film, she just stays in the car. She's playing it cool.
Yep.
The woman stepped out of the sleek sports car and smiled, taking off the wig and shaking her luxurious real red hair, revealing her true identity, Natasha Romanoff, otherwise known as S.H.I.E.L.D. agent and super spy Black Widow. This guy doesn't recognize Captain America.
No.
But he knows who this super spy Black Widow is.
Yep.
Women change their hair colour all the time. They also wear sunglasses. It's not a disguise.
No, it's not a disguise.
So what is this? Is this like her driving wig? I'm gonna nip down to the shops. I'm gonna put on my driving wig.
I think so.
My driving gloves, my driving wig.
Yeah, being a super spy who is so recognisable,
Yeah.
she probably does need to do something.
Yeah.
Or she'll be mobbed by all of the
Yeah.
other spies.
If you're gonna nip down to the shop to buy pads or something,
That's
you may as
right.
well put on the driving wig.
Oh,
and
man,
just,
for sure.
Enjoy
Yeah,
that
it'll be-
anonymity for a little while.
Yeah, it'll be embarrassing otherwise. Yeah.
Briefing number 3: hostages and hard drives.
And Cap and Steve are in the... Steve and Sam are in the car at this point with ScarJo. So I reckon if I was in the car with ScarJo, it would be a very hard drive.
He's such a Bro Hansen.
Uh-huh.
And did they change a costume here?
Yes. Not Scarlett's hair.
No,
but
no,
an actual
no.
change of costume.
She's done enough.
Yeah. So this is the Captain America's blue and white one.
So this is his first mission here.
His first mission with Strike. It's all blue with a massive white star.
Very
and
cool.
A white star. And it's really cool. But stealth?
Yeah, big white star,
Yeah.
white target on your chest isn't a great bit of stealth.
I didn't think so at first, but then I thought about it. And Daredevil comics have the Hand Ninja guys. And they're all in massively bright red clothing. So maybe a big white star is stealth in the Marvel Universe.
I think that's just like mocking the blind guy, isn't it? I don't think Daredevil knows his own suit's red. I think he went and bought it and was like, yeah, this is great. I'm going to be
I think you're right.
slinking into the shadows, and the guy's just taking the piss.
Yes.
So who is here on this mission? Who have we got assembled?
So this is our strike team that contains Cap, Black Widow, and Brock Rumlow.
Played by Frank Grillo.
Yes. And he's the guy who turns out to be a baddie as well.
Yes.
And he'll become Crossbones in Civil War. And Crossbones was a character that was created in the 80s and was pretty much the right-hand man for the Red Skull for a long, long time. Because you had to have a villain crew with the Skull and Crossbones.
Oh, yeah, bloody brilliant. Yes.
It's literature comics, they really are.
And funny you should mention Skull and Crossbones, because this ship that they have to go and liberate,
Yes.
hijacked by pirates.
Yep.
Bunch of Jolly Rogerers.
Jack Sparrow and the crew.
Captain America was shocked by the amount of ransom they were demanding for a boat. Pirates attacked all the time and never demanded $1 billion in ransom. In the 1940s, that would have been an inconceivable figure, and it was extremely high even by modern standards. So, no details about Bucky's death or Black Widow's appearance, but boy, is Cap going to take the time out to crunch these numbers here. He is Captain Accountant going to figure all this out.
They're important, you know. Those are the details that we need to know.
Yes.
And speaking of details we need to know,
Yes.
Strike was created as an organisation by Alan Moore
Oh, cool.
back in the 80s, and they were like the UK equivalent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And they were in the Captain Britain
Yes, I'm familiar
stories
with
that he
Captain
wrote.
Britain.
Yeah, really, really cool stuff. But as a super spy organisation, Strike were a bit crap.
In the comics.
In the comics, yeah. So they were taken over by a crime lord whose name was Vixen. She was turned into a fox.
Nice.
Then a man who got transformed into a woman-man hybrid because he wanted to be tough and masculine, but also like his boss, who was a kick-ass white queen type chick. And then a crazy guy who wears a loincloth and a bedsheet became the head of Strike and used them to do evil. So they were a bit shit.
Bedsheet really should have been a clue. But these pirates, who are they led by?
They're led by Batroc.
Yeah, the Leaper.
Yes.
I know this guy.
You know Batroc the Leaper?
Yes, I do.
Yes, so he is this... Think of the worst French archetype you can possibly imagine.
Yes.
You've got that picture in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not quite as outrageous as Batroc.
Yes.
He's got the massive long moustache. He's got the really dodgy accent.
Yes, they very culturally sensitive in Marvel and DC.
They are, absolutely. And he's just so over the top and stupid. But in the movie, no way, man. He's like this kick-ass MMA guy who's tough and rugged and...
Yeah, very grounded.
Very grounded and very real, and not at all like Batroc. But he does have orange and purple.
Yeah, I didn't even really realise that until you pointed that out. But yeah, the same costume colours and they've made that reference to that, which is pretty cool. All he's missing is a mask.
Well, that's exactly right. And they do a lot of this in the Marvel movies, I've noticed. The guys won't... They'll have the more realistic uniforms, but they'll make sure that the colours are in there and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like with Hawkeye's purple accents.
Yes. So the Strike team that we've got here, they kick pirate ass, specifically.
Pirate booty.
Yes. And Widow takes the chance just to, grill Steve about his lack of love life.
Yeah, and this is another instance where the details that are added in this book are really, really weird. Because when Natasha lands on the ship and continues questioning him about his love life, they've interpreted it like this. She wouldn't give up. He jumped out of the Quinjet without a parachute to avoid her, but she didn't get the hint. So this bald-faced lie about his motivations here.
Yeah.
But then the next sentence is sort of like sheepishly admits to the lie. Truthfully, he jumped out of the Quinjet to save the hostages, but he seriously didn't want to hear another comment about his dating life or the lack of one. I don't mind a novel getting inside the mind of a character. I mean, I think that's what novels should be doing.
That's what we want them to
do.
But
not when you're just lying and getting it completely fucking wrong. It's like...
And so schizophrenically as well.
Yeah.
I just jumped out to get rid of that bitch. Wait a minute, no.
Oh, shut up! I'm jumping out. Oh, I landed on the boat. Well, I may as well carry out this mission. But that's not why I jumped here, guys. Because of that crazy... Oh, here she comes. With a parachute.
Yes. Yeah, now what disappointed me about this part of the book, again, a minor disappointment, is that, and in the film it's somewhat similar, but Batroc just gets punched once. And that's it, he goes down.
Well, to be fair, Cap's first tactic here didn't exactly work out for him. "Stop kicking me!" he shouted to Batroc, and with his superhuman strength, he threw Batroc through a door. Yeah. "Stop kicking me!"
Well, no, that works as a tactic.
It's a great way to get someone to stop kicking you, or at least express your displeasure at them kicking you.
Yeah, now they know that...
Wouldn't it be great if he said, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm really just culturally all over it now.
There's nothing wrong with that. But no, that's true, yeah. He says, we will bond over some absinthe, no?
Yep, some big old breadsticks and onions. All right, and Black Widow, meanwhile, ignores the hostages, doesn't she? She's off on a little mission of her own.
She goes and retrieves a data drive.
Which will be very important later on, including briefing number 4, what's in the paper bag?
Come on, it's pretty obvious. It's an American movie.
Yep.
It's lunch, man. Come on. And
has to be.
I think so. And this is the ultimate American idol here, the American standard. So lunch, of course, has to be a burger pizza with hot dogs baked into the crust.
And these guys have very specialist uniforms. I reckon they've got the grease-proof pockets.
Of course.
For sure.
Yes. That's where some of the cameras were hidden.
A couple of sliders in there, in the pockets.
Yes.
Absolutely. So what's happening in this one?
Okay, so in this one... They're back at S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, and Cap gets really pissed off with Nick Fury for lying about the mission, because it was more about rescuing the information on the data drive than actually saving the hostages. Yeah. So Fury tries to mollify Cap with a little bit of a story about trust, which features his grandfather.
Yep.
And that's the paper bag that's referred to in the title. So, and in the paper bag, what's in the paper bag?
Bacon, cheese.
No, something equally American. Dollar notes.
Dollar bills, y'all.
And a gun.
Yeah, don't leave home without it.
Nah, you got to live that gangster life, y'all.
Conceal and carry.
That's right. And then because Cap's not already pissed off enough about Fury lying about things and being a bit of a gung-ho type of dude, he says, check out these enormous new helicarriers that we got. We're going to use them as mega weapons.
Yeah.
Hooray!
It's funny too. I mean, we gave Sam Wilson shit, but Cap doesn't seem too bright or observant here either. 3 massive helicarriers stood before him. What was S.H.I.E.L.D. making? And was he part of it? Let me answer both of these questions for Cap. Number 1,
Please.
3 massive helicarriers. 2, no. Like, if you don't remember being there, you don't remember building them, doing anything, probably weren't part of it, Cap.
I think you're right. Although maybe Steve has little micro naps.
What are they, was it a fugue
state?
Yeah,
That's it, yeah.
Could be.
Goes on ice temporarily from time
Finds
to time.
himself naked in the supermarket.
I'd like to see that in
Yeah.
Cap 3.
Yeah.
I want to see Civil War start over a banana in the supermarket. That would be great. So the helicarriers are designed by another little link here to the Avengers, Tony Stark.
Yes.
And they utilise his Unibeam tech. That's the thing in his chest that he fires out at people.
Fantastic.
And this is really cool because Cap, of course, isn't impressed. And so we're sort of seeing those seeds planted for Civil War.
Which is going to be Captain America 3 for people that don't know who are listening.
So, yeah, we've already got... And that's purported to be the conflict between Steve Rogers on one side and Tony Stark on the other, which you talked about in FP Cast.
Yeah,
last week.
another big storyline from the Marvel world. So they, very much have a big plan in place by this. They're very confident about where they're going and have a plan that they actually seem to be following. Not like, like Sony's Spider-Man plan where you're going to get the Sinister Six and then you're going to get a Venom movie and then you're going to get... No, actually, fuck, we don't have any of that.
No.
We lied.
Yeah, we'll give it back to Marvel
Yeah,
instead.
you guys...
They've got a plan. So there's a really nice piece of writing here because the dialogue between Steve and Fury just encapsulates both characters really, really nicely. So
Steve didn't like the sound of what S.H.I.E.L.D. was planning.
doesn't the punishment usually come after the crime?
We can't afford to wait that long, Fury replied. I've read your files. The greatest generation did some pretty mean stuff.
We compromised, sometimes in ways that didn't let us sleep so great, but we did it so people could be free. Steve said as he turned to the helicarriers and pointed. This isn't freedom, it's fear.
S.H.I.E.L.D. takes the world as it is, not as we'd like it to be. It's getting damn near past the time that you got with the program, Captain.
Don't hold your breath. Steve walked away in disgust, as Fury just stood silently.
Freedom at what cost, though?
That's
you know?
right.
God, Americans love their freedom. They want the freedom to eat that thing with the chicken instead of bread.
Yes.
You know, if you had such a delicious thing in front of you, you would fight very hard to protect that as well.
Absolutely. Whilst drooling.
While shooting a machine gun into the air.
Yes.
Or at people in a cinema. Well, you know, that's you're right. Bare arms.
It is. It's a national pastime.
Shoot up some shit.
Yeah. So Cap rides off angry, of course, and Fury's also pissed off, but for a different reason.
That reason is because he's Nick Fury, and that's his being pissed off is his thing, clearly.
True. Yeah, it's Samuel L. Jackson,
Yeah.
so he needs to shout a bit. But in this case, it's because he can't access the new weapon systems, the big helicarrier things.
He's an old man, forgotten his password.
No, well, that's what we thought, yeah.
He's calling IT. They're asking him to, turn it off and turn it back on again.
That's right, he's saying it's the ATM machine.
Yeah.
But it turns out that the files have been locked.
Oh, who would do that?
Nick Fury, apparently.
Ooh, curiouser and curiouser.
Dun, dun, dun.
Briefing number 5, The American Dream.
And we know what the American dream is.
Eating a giant marshmallow.
Yeah. And realising your
Pillow's
gone, of course. And also, liberty, freedom, bacon-flavoured Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, all those great things. And, okay, now I've got a problem with this.
Aha. Tell me.
Well, Steve visits the Captain America wing of the Smithsonian, right?
Yes.
And let's recall that Sam Wilson knows where the Smithsonian is and what it is, but he did not recognize Captain America or get Black Widow's joke, despite the fact that his beloved Smithsonian has an entire wing dedicated to Captain America. He's not a detective, this guy.
No, definitely not. He's just a soldier, not a thinker.
But why is Steve here?
Well, he's not there just to stroke his ego.
No.
He's there to visit the display that commemorates Bucky.
Yes, beloved Bucky. I still don't know why he's important, but...
No, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
I made fun of the perishing before. I thought that wasn't a very good explanation, but...
No, we get a good one now. And it also leads into a cool character insight for Steve Rogers again, which I'm enjoying in this book. We do get some really... I think the writers do understand the character of Steve Rogers.
Occasionally.
On occasions.
Maybe one of them understands and the other one doesn't.
Maybe. So the summary goes something like this. The Red Skull's men had set a trap for Captain America and Bucky was outnumbered against the Hydra soldiers. He was injured and fell from the train before Cap could reach him. Steve sighed. In that moment, he wasn't good enough. He wasn't fast enough. He wasn't super enough. And he vowed never to be that weak again.
Not weak like the stupid women back home, huh? And this conveniently neglects the fact, though, that Bucky had his arm torn off. I think that's a bit of a shame.
And that's a pretty big clue.
To what?
To something that may happen later on.
I've got no idea.
No.
Not following this at all.
No, it's because they're files all over the place and we're trying to put them together as a jigsaw.
Hey, speaking of women...
Hey, Steve goes to check out the exhibit for Peggy Carter and man, I've got to come out and say, Agent Carter, the way she's played by Hayley Atwell, is probably my favourite character in the Marvel Universe. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, she kicks ass.
She's very cool. I'm always happy to see her turn up.
Yeah, me too. She's just awesome. And Star-Lord.
Yes.
If we can find a way to get those two together somehow.
Star-Lord Man. Well,
Star-Lord Man and
he'll
Peggy
give
Carter.
it a go. He can go through a wormhole to when she was young and hot.
Wormhole. And again, we get another cool character moment.
Or he can go through her wormhole when she's old.
That's what I'm thinking.
Old and... no.
Definitely not.
Steve almost let a tear slip out. He wished he could meet her at the Stork Club like he'd promised. It was tragic to see her past on display in a museum. It made him feel like a relic. He just didn't fit in, but at least he could still help people. Helping others was a timeless pursuit. So he didn't fit into the modern world, but he sure wished he could go back in time and fit into her.
Well, who wouldn't?
Can you imagine, though, if a museum just suddenly opened up a wing about your life? Like, I don't know if they got permission to do this from him, like, but I could go to the museum and go, oh, it's like Luke Milton's greatest fuck-ups on display.
Yes.
There's a mannequin with a, like, bottle of tequila, alienating everybody he cares for.
Oh, yeah, and that would be me from 1991 to 2007. Yes. Holy
Here
fuck.
it is. Thanks, museum. Briefing number 6 is a bit of a diversion. It's called Avengers Assemble.
The best comic battle cry ever.
Yes.
Avengers Assemble. Oh, love it. So, we talked about the briefing previously being a bit IMDb.
Yes.
Rather than S.H.I.E.L.D.
Back of the DVD.
This is pretty much like that. This whole chapter is pretty much it again. But it's not too bad. We're sort of laying seeds again because it's mentioned one more time that Captain America, Tony Stark, they're at loggerheads.
Yeah, so this is a summary of that first Avengers movie. Steve Rogers had serious issues with one Avenger, billionaire genius Tony Stark. These two superheroes always seemed to be in the middle of a fight. Anytime Steve spoke, Tony had a witty retort. Oh, God forbid anyone's witty. Steve followed orders while following orders was not Tony's thing.
And it goes then go on to say that Cap grows to respect Tony because Tony almost sacrifices himself to stop the nuclear weapon that's been launched by the evil World Council, who are the baddies in this movie in the end. But it leaves a question unanswered. Does Tony respect Steve Rogers in return? Or does he still think he's a bit of an out of time?
A bit of an old fuddy-duddy.
I think so, yeah, who should be on ice. And what I like is... Okay, so Tony's the one who doesn't take orders.
No.
He's the bit of a rebel.
He'd be a terrible waiter.
He would be a shocking waiter. Oh, yeah.
He'd be like Grover.
Yeah.
That's that guy. Like, that guy I don't know why that guy comes there for
He
lunch
goes
every
there
time.
every time.
And Grover just fucking trolls him the entire time. He's got no interest in bringing him any food.
Not
I don't
at
know
all.
how that guy's fat, because he doesn't get to eat anything.
He must eat before he goes. That's
yeah.
why he's happy to argue for so long.
Yeah, which means, like, is it a symbiotic thing? Does he sort of get off on that torment?
That's entirely possible.
It's very masochistic.
Yeah. Oh, and another link between Grover and Tony Stark.
Yes.
I was watching Sesame Street with Jamie and Guy a couple of months back.
Yeah.
And because Disney owns everything, they
That's
also
true.
own Sesame Street
Yep.
and the Muppets. So we got to see Grover as the Iron Man
Oh, yeah, I've seen that clip.
in the laundromat with the iron for a head.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Very cool. So, sorry, I totally derailed that.
No, that's
Tony does not take orders well.
No, but see, in Civil War, in the comics in
Yeah.
particular, Tony's the one who gets all fascist, and he says, no, all the heroes should be registered, we need to know what their powers are, we need to train them all, they're all going to be under the remit of the Avengers, and I'm the big boss and everybody's got to do what I say.
But that kind of fits in with what they've done in with the like Avengers 2 and everything. He's created some real menaces. Like, him trying to control things has caused really big problems. And now he's like, well, shit, like, we've got to be, we got to register this stuff. We've got to, like, I reckon he's got that guilt now of we can't let these things go unchecked, because every time they go unchecked, something really bad happens,
Yeah,
and
of
he's
course.
usually to blame.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, you're right, it is that guilt that's driving
So,
things.
like, let's
Yeah,
get
good call.
everything above board.
Yeah, nice.
All right. Should we go to briefing number 7? Hopefully now we're back on track with the story. We've stopped talking. There's no, oh, by the way, did anyone see Thor? In Thor, there's this rainbow bridge.
That's right.
This one's called A Favor for a Sailor. Not for a sailor.
No, not for a sailor, but for the American representative of the World Council.
Yes.
The baddies who are in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. And he asks the American rep to delay the deployment. That's hard to say. Delay the deployment of Project Insight. And so we're just sort of slowly building a bit more of the plot again.
Yes.
Now, the cool thing in here is earlier I talked about this whole thing's 70s political thriller type DNA.
Yep.
And the American rep, Alexander Pierce, is played by Robert Redford, who is like the Mr. Political Thriller man back in the day,
Yeah, absolutely.
which was cool. Quite like that.
Yeah.
And All the President's Men was one of Robert Redford's big things where he played Woodward or Bernstein, one of the guys who did the Watergate thing, yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
And it's cool, though, because they're not really dumbing the book down for kids, which, we've got the slow plot build, we've got the little...
Don't get too generous.
Twists
with them,
and
Brad.
turns? No, you don't think so?
I think they'll come back to form.
All right, let's see.
Briefing number 8. You fight for us, we fight for you.
Now, you're right, because this is the perfect scene for a kid's book. This is what I look for when I'm trying to choose a book that's suitable for my kids. Traumatised war veterans are sitting around talking about their post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, it was a bit too traumatic for me, so I'm going to interrupt this bit with some out-of-context comedy corner.
Thank God.
Sam noticed Steve slip in through the back door.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
dumb, but
my.
he's not that dumb.
Yeah.
Whew.
Can't get it past him.
Yeah. And so after he slips in, both Cap and the Falcon discuss their own trauma and talk about losing close friends in battle, and it's a bit heartbreaking because Steve admits that, look, he just doesn't know how to be happy.
Well, look, start crossing things off your list, for Christ's sake. Like, if you'd been frozen in 1940, then suddenly appeared in modern times, you would have a billion awesome things to do. The other way around, you might get depressed, but, like, the internet alone should be diversion enough.
Oh,
like,
God, yeah.
Just put Steve in a room and let him Google hot naked ankles, and he's just going to be amazed at, like, what is out there
yes,
for
indeed.
him. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
And God, you would think that, like, an Avenger who saved the world from aliens wouldn't have, like, problem meeting women and all that sort of stuff.
No, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
like-
but then again, they don't recognise him. Sam Wilson didn't know who the hell he was.
What's this guy?
Yeah, your
Just
average girl on
running
the street.
around super fast.
That's right.
Looks like that guy in the museum across the road. He's got a whole wing. Yeah. Yes, you're right. This bit is intense.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore. So I'm wondering where this is going to go. So Next chapter, Black Widow talks about the nihilism which builds in your soul after killing a man barehanded.
That would pull this out of a nosedive for me. That would get me excited. Instead, we get briefing number 9, traffic jam. Although it is more exciting than you might be led to believe.
Yes. Nick Fury's sitting in his dark, fancy SUV, and he has to stare down a cop who, of course, is suspicious of a black guy in an SUV. Then the cops get pissed off, so they get their revenge by ramming the SUV with 3 squad cars, getting a SWAT team to come in and try to break into the car and kill him and stuff like that. Which it is continuing on quite nicely. A little bit of social commentary.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, these turn out to be fake cops, but in real life, he would have been shot by a real cop probably 6 movies previously.
Yes.
But he does escape.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool chase scene. There's
That's not badly written.
No, it's not bad. There's some cool twists and turns in the driving.
Yes.
And also in the plot. And then we have the final assassin. He blows up the car, and he's ready to kill Fury, and he has a metal arm.
Yeah, Fury's screen snapped back to forward view and revealed a masked man with a high-tech launcher standing in the middle of the road. The assassin fired a black disc slid into the street. I love that, where he blows up the car from underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that thing about, I read this somewhere, I hadn't figured it out for myself, but like the Winter Soldier mask is the reverse of Captain America's. Like Captain America has his eyes and mouth open, and Winter Soldier has the mouth and eyes closed and everything else open.
Hey, no, I hadn't realised that. That's
you go.
really interesting. Yeah.
Briefing number 10, shots fired!
Lots of shots being fired. Steve fires some shots of seduction at his hot nurse neighbour.
Oh, yes.
She's very nice. Then he finds Fury, who has been shot in his apartment. And I'm assuming that Fury fired some shots at the lock and broke the door in.
A lot quicker than Keys. It's the American way.
Yeah, bare arms.
And then Fury shot.
Oh, by who?
Some guy, an assassin.
Okay, cool. And what happens then?
He's handed a hard drive. And Steve's handed a hard drive.
He's
not allowed to trust anybody.
No, that's right.
Yeah. And this is where Steve takes chase. But this neighbour, there's more to her, right?
Yeah. So the hot nurse neighbour is not just a hot nurse neighbour. She is S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent 13. And she says that, look, that's cool, I'll stay with Fury to provide.
She's like
first.
Steve's watcher.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And she's going to be a big feature of Civil War because we saw the teams and she is on Cap's team.
Yes. Now, I think the reason for that is Agent 13 in the comics is Sharon Carter.
Now, is she Carter in the movie?
I don't think she was. I think
Okay.
we just know her as Agent 13.
All right.
I reckon it depends, because if they really want to play around with it the same way they do in the comics, Sharon Carter is Peggy Carter's niece.
Right.
Cap knew Peggy back in the day during the war.
Yeah.
But she looks almost exactly like Peggy does.
It's going to be depressing for Peggy. As like Cap's banging the niece, the hot young niece that looks like her when she was younger, while she
Yeah, there was some really,
lies in a hospital bed.
And there are some really funny stories where they play off that whole Peggy, Cap, Sharon love triangle thing, and Steve is thinking, oh, but if only Peggy were young again, then I wouldn't have to be doing this to her niece. But in the end, are all happy with one another, and Peggy joins the Avengers.
She go a 3-way, like one old, one young, different levels of experience.
Yeah.
Like my Gilmore Girl fantasy.
Yes. Nice. That doesn't happen, sadly, in the comics.
No, or in this movie.
Or in the movie. But Sharon ends up becoming Steve's lover and crime-fighting partner and just all-round kick-ass chick. And becomes the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a little while as well.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe she is. Then maybe she could be a love interest for him as these stories continue.
I hope so.
All right, so Cap, he confronts the assassin.
And we have that awesome scene that's in the trailer, and it just got me so jazzed for the movie, where the Winter Soldier assassin type dude catches the shield with his metallic arm.
He landed in a roll, and when he popped up, he flung his vibranium shield with such force the whoosh could be heard down the block. 100 yards before the edge of the roof, the assassin turned, and with a clang, he plucked Captain America's shield out of the air with ease. Steve just stood there in awe. How could this be? No one had ever done that to his shield. Not Loki, not the Chitauri, not even Iron Man. Like, what the fucking Chitauri couldn't do shit
No.
to anything.
No, man, they were the most fodder of cannon fodder I think we've
they
ever
could have
seen.
been made out of plasticine for the amount of resistance they put up.
Yes. So, the assassin, he's grabbed the shield to put a point on it. He throws the shield back at Steve. Steve gets knocked down. And when he finally recovers and the stars and stripes stop dancing around his head, assassin's gone.
You know, with this Winter Soldier dude, like, you know how there's all these action figures of, like, stealth Iron Man or, like, underwater Iron Man and stuff like that?
Yes.
Why didn't they ever do, like, seasonal variants of the Winter Soldier? Like the Summer Soldier, and he's got, like, the short pants and he's got sunglasses.
I like it.
Or what about a spring-loaded Spring Soldier?
Now
That
you're
would be pretty good.
talking.
He comes with a lamb.
Oh, yeah.
And he's takes off his mask and he's painted like an Easter egg. His entire face.
That would be awesome.
Would be very cool.
But of course, the Autumn Soldier's legs wouldn't fit, so he'd always be falling over.
Falling over. Come with a parachute. Maybe.
Yes.
All right, briefing number 11, Man Down. And this opens with a scene which is completely not in the film. I wonder if it was in the script at some point. Very strange. A Corvette screeched to a halt in front of the hospital located in downtown DC. A frantic Natasha jumped out. At the door, two cops tried to stop her. Authorized personnel only, one of them began. But before he could finish, Natasha flipped him over her hip and took him to the ground with ease. So, yeah, the scene where she beats up cops doing their job, not in the film. Didn't make it through.
No, I'm not surprised, really. I mean, it showed how kick-ass and cool she was, but, yeah, also a bit of a mole, really. But unlike the other useless women that we talked about
Yep.
earlier, who were weak.
From the 40s.
That's right. She's useful.
Yes.
She talks about how she knows about an assassin with a metallic arm. He uses Russian weapons, and she thinks he might know. She might have come across him at some point.
All Russians know each other. It's a very, very small continent.
Oh, yeah, tiny. And
Country. Do know the difference.
no.
Vaguely.
Country, continent, same thing.
It's one of those. That's
all
start with
good.
C.
Yeah, that's right. And Steve shows us that he was listening to Fury, and he's not trusting anyone because he ignores Natasha's questions about Fury. And the hard drive, the data drive that he's got, he sticks in a bubblegum vending machine.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, hopefully it's a really shitty brand of bubblegum.
Yeah, I always thought that was a bit of a flaw in the film. Like, Steve is just so convinced that bubblegum is not going anywhere. Like, I don't know what flavour it was.
I don't know, grape Hubba Bubba or something.
Dog shit or something. It's like, no one's going to get that dog
Bacon
shit.
and eggs.
Hubba Bubba. Bacon and eggs they might go for.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This is America.
Yeah.
But it might have been something, or probably like vegetable flavour. No one's going to touch that. There's no way.
It's true. Now it's my turn to totally derail.
Great. Please do.
So Captain America comics in the 80s, right, had Hubba Bubba ads.
That's cool. That's a nice tie-in.
And they were all about, like, this whole Western theme cowboy thing, right? So the whole point was that you would be shown how to be a gum fighter. And you would have these showdowns with blowing giant bubbles. And these comics would actually have kids with massive Stetsons on in the gum fighter pose.
Which I would imagine most Americans have a Stetson in their wardrobe.
Man, don't you get given one when you graduate kindergarten?
Yeah.
I think you do.
It's national dress.
It is, definitely. And a gun.
Yep.
And yeah, it was just awesome to see. You'd have these little gun fighter showdowns, and it would show you how to stand and what to say when you blew someone away. And oh man, it was awesome.
So what? So you lose if your gun popped first?
If your gun popped first, yeah.
And then the other kid gets to shoot you in the face with his concealed weapon.
Exactly, that's right.
Yeah. America. And Steve gets called back to S.H.I.E.L.D. HQ, which brings us to briefing number 12, entitled Storm the Basement, in which Halle Berry's character, Storm, is tied up in the basement.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
unsettling what they do to her.
It is, but it's, at least she's doing something in this film.
Yeah.
Unlike the X-Men franchise.
True, that last one.
Yeah. And yeah, it's not just the lack of storm in the basement that annoyed me with this one. I thought this was the bit in the movie where Cap was in the elevator, Steve's in the elevator, and all of the guys are surrounding him and he ends up kicking the shit out of him. So I was thinking this is going to be a cool action scene. But no, instead, Steve meets Alexander Pierce, Robert Redford.
Yep.
Pierce tells Steve a story about Fury and trust again. Steve gets annoyed again when Pierce admits that he was the one that bugged Steve's apartment. And Pierce echoes Fury again and talks about realism versus ideology.
Nick asked me to take the World Security Council job because we're both realists. We know this job wasn't about ideology. It's about what you have to do right now, today.
And another quick aside, when I was reading the book, I could have sworn that he said, we know this job isn't about archaeology.
Yeah,
it's about what you have to do right now today.
To be fair, it's not about archaeology at all.
No.
Never did they go and raid a tomb and steal a relic, anything like that.
No, use a whip or anything.
Nah.
Cool. No.
Not at all. So look, if you've gotten this far expecting it to be archaeology, just get out now because
That's right.
you're thinking, oh, surely any minute now. Not going to happen.
Sorry, guys. Sorry to disappoint. And so, yeah, again, this is another one of those spy stuff that's really essential for the plot. And we learn that Batroc was hired by someone anonymously. Maybe it was Fury. Maybe it was someone trying to frame Fury. Again, Pierce is asking Steve about Fury and where was he and what was going on. And Steve trusts no one, refuses to reveal any info about the data drive and Fury and things like that. And it's essential plot stuff. Man, it's boring.
Yeah, because you're listening to this and you're thinking, okay, you guys, you're around the hour mark now, and you're still not very far into the movie. Like, how long is this fucking thing going to be? The thing is, you just talked about we're missing the elevator scene, and it's like that. Yeah. That's a huge iconic scene from this movie. It's one of the most memorable sequences in the movie. It's not here.
It's phenomenal,
and it's because this part really marks the point where the book goes off the rails. Yes. Where it starts to move away from the film and wrap up in a way that you're not really expecting. So, Briefing 13 is the chase, is what it's called. This is where
Steve goes to recover the hard drive from the vending machine. But, oh, geez, what a shock. Someone else has got it. Someone got the data drive from the bubblegum machine.
Someone must really like dog shit.
Jeez, yeah. But, of course, the person that's chewing gum and kicking ass is the Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff.
I love that sequence when it's just revealed with the bubblegum.
Yeah, I could watch her chewing bubblegum all day. That was nice. So she tells Steve a little bit more about Fury's assassin, and we finally get a name. He is the legendary Winter Soldier.
That is who it is. That's this guy.
That's the guy. So he's killed apparently 24 people across 50 years. A bit impossible. And because it's a bit impossible, he's considered a bit of a fiction by the intelligence community.
It's like less than one every 2 years.
Yeah, he's lazy.
I mean, Christ. You could kill 24 people in one battle, surely. Fuck me, that's nothing.
No, that's why he's Winter. He hibernates a bit.
Yeah, Christ, he must have been sleeping through with his big belly next to a bear in a cave somewhere. Jesus, 24 people across 50 years. I've done more than that. 39.
That's true. Hey, there you go. 39. 37.
So yes.
So again, advancing the plot.
Yeah. This is where it veers off. Explain what happens here. Okay,
so Natasha and Steve drive off to read the hard drive, but their drive becomes very hard because they're attacked by helicopters.
Yeah.
There's this big Ride of the Valkyries, Apocalypse Now charge.
And up there, flying the helicopter, apparently.
The lead helicopter pilot is the Winter Soldier.
So look, this isn't in the film at all. This doesn't happen. The Winter Soldier's not in a helicopter coming after them as they're... in the film, they go to the mall.
Yes.
But here, they're attacked by the Winter Soldier in a helicopter, and he blows up their car.
Yes.
And then they straight away decide that they're going to go to...
Steve's mate.
Steve's friend. Yep. But... So this book completely skips them when they go on the run, when they go to the Apple store, when they kiss on the escalator.
So
it completely skips over that entire bit where they go to the bunker and Toby Jones's character is the man in the computer thing. Zola.
Yeah, Zola, that's it, yes.
That's all missing and the space getting blown up.
Yeah, all the cool stuff.
All that stuff is completely gone. And that just goes to show how absolutely terrified Disney is about spoilers.
Yes.
This is why these things are cut to bits. They didn't show the elevator scene because they don't want to show that he's betrayed by Frank Grillo. Yeah.
Yep, by Crossbones.
So they don't want to show that.
Nope.
They don't want to show what happened to Armanzola. They want that to be a surprise.
That's got to be a surprise later on. Yep.
So it's all just missing.
Yeah.
None of it's in the book. So if you paid your money for this book thinking you were going to get it, you're not.
Yeah. The Amazon article won't say, this is just like the movie.
Well, it still does, actually, which is terrifying.
Of course it does.
But
of course it does.
We'll get to that. So, briefing 14, the XO7 file, we find out Steve's mate is none other than...
Sam Wilson.
Who is still as dumb as all shit. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door, and he headed to answer it. Must be Girl Scouts or something, he thought. When he answered the door, though, it wasn't Girl Scouts. Not in the least bit. How often do Girl Scouts visit Sam Wilson's house that he would immediately jump to this conclusion?
28 times
Sure,
over
he's
50
not
years.
living in the 40s?
I think he must be.
Jesus. Has he got like a deal with the Girl Scouts? Is it like an arrangement?
I think so. There's something going on, I think. That's... Yeah, look, he's a soldier, he's a veteran. Some veterans, when they get home, they need... what they had, back in the stories about heroin addicts after Vietnam.
Yeah.
The guys who got hooked on Percodan in the Gulf War. Yeah, Sam got addicted to Girl Scout cookies.
I think he must have done.
They're his dealers, man.
What's worse than a Girl Scout in your pocket? A brownie in your trousers. I think I've told that joke before on the show.
It's still a classic.
Show. There we go. No, so without Girl Scout cookies to eat, they instead...
Oh, they have a proper bacon and eggs brekkie.
Nice.
Because you can't talk about secrets without a full stomach full of fat and congealing.
Got to get the bacon happening. Obviously, Black Widow eats a lot of bacon.
She does. She does indeed. And Steve decides just to tell Sam about everything.
Yep.
He's a fellow soldier. Hey, I'll tell you all about what's going on.
I met you once. Someone in a helicopter tried to kill me. Mm-hmm. You obviously are not a very observant person. You don't understand jokes. You take things very literally. Pretend to know a lot about the Smithsonian. You've never been in there. You obviously don't own a television. And you might be blind and or brain damaged. But
with a mint cookie habit.
Yeah. And you keep thinking that Black Widow here is a Girl Scout. She's not.
Yes.
But we could use some help right now.
Yeah, he's trustworthy. He must be.
Yeah.
Because, he reveals his skills as a para-rescue trooper, but he doesn't fly a helicopter. He never says,
It doesn't even fly a plane.
No. He flies using his XO7 Falcon glider.
Yeah, so a pair of mechanical wings that sort of go on a pack on his back and allow him to fly around.
Yeah, so he can fly. You will believe a man can fly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And XO7 Falcon glider, look, state-of-the-art military tech.
Yep, hugely expensive, I'd imagine.
Yep, used only in the most dire of circumstances.
Yep. You probably barcoded, you probably have to sign it out. They probably really look after these assets.
I would think so, but Sam's got one in his shed.
Do you reckon that's like a sort of Winona Ryder kind of just took it with him when he left? Just when nobody will probably notice this. Or...
I can put it under my jacket to hide it. They won't know.
Yeah.
That'll work. I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Oh, there goes Sam the Hunchback. See you, Sam. Good luck.
So it's lucky that he has hunchbacked out with one of these packs, because now the dynamic duo's become a terrific trio.
At least they're not a Fantastic Four.
No,
right?
Thank God. It's Fan 4 stick.
So I can't even imagine what happens in briefing number 15 entitled Falcon Takes Flight.
Yeah, I don't know. Based on how dumb he's been. He does take flight.
Yes.
Falcon does. And they see some helicopters.
Yeah, okay. So Yes. Now, in the film, we first see Falcon flying when that magnificent scene where they terrorize Agent Sitwell.
Man, that is so cool.
Yeah, like when Black Widow kicks him off the building and then Sam catches him.
Catches him at the last
But
moment.
in this, it's this fucking helicopter shit. Like Winter Soldier back in his helicopter.
Yep.
Like, that's his thing. That's what the Winter Soldier does. What does it
Yep.
mean? Well, he flies a helicopter
That's
around,
right.
apparently. Falcon pointed into the distance. A bunch of high-tech choppers armed to the teeth with missiles and rocket launchers was flying in their direction. As the choppers got closer, they saw that one of the men hanging over the side was the Winter Soldier. And so now we have this, like, showdown between... Because Briefing 16 is called the Super Soldier versus the Winter Soldier. This is the moment. But... in the film, like, they recognise that Sitwell is a Hydra agent,
Yes.
which they're not going to give away in this book.
No, they're
And
not.
and in the film, Bucky attacks they're talking to Sitwell, and he punches a hole through the car
Yep.
and just throws Sitwell out onto the freeway and kills him.
That's right.
We don't get any of that. Instead, it's this helicopter fight.
Yes.
And the Super Soldier and the Winter Soldier faced off inside the back of the chopper until the masked man gave a mighty metal punch to Cap, knocking him out of their helicopter towards the busy streets below. Cap fell and crashed through the roof of a city bus.
And that's it. The fight's over.
That's the end.
That's it.
He died.
This is what we've been waiting for the whole book. And now as we get to the end, Cap gets punched into a bus.
No, but it's not the end, but it's really nearly the end.
It's sadly
this
enough.
is this battle. So,
Yes.
and this is that kind of like a version of that fight that happens out on the overpass with Winter Soldier, Black Widow, and Cap, and
Sort of.
Falcon sort of fighting the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and it sort of cuts back and forth between the various antagonists in the fight, and
It's got some like action bits. It's just not really the film.
no. So some of the cool stuff. The masked man scanned the area for her. Black Widow crept silently up and leaped towards him. This doesn't end like Odessa, she said, firing her widow bites. Like magnets, they stuck to his metal arm, shocking him and momentarily causing the arm to go limp. It's the first time anything's gone limp around Scargo.
Oh, Brahanson.
Puzzled and engaged, the Winter Soldier studied his useless limb as Black Widow scrambled away.
She did. She like really just attacked his masculinity,
Absolutely.
didn't she?
Oh,
She
yeah.
left him impotent.
Yep, definitely.
This one, Captain America leaned into the gunfire as the Gatling gun fired at him, pushing him back. He fought on and pushed his way closer to the Merc. More Mercs came to refill the Gatling, but Falcon swooped in and carried them off. Finally, he's like just out of the heavens,
Yep,
like an avenging angel.
he is.
Finally, the Gatling gun ran dry. The Merc behind it gaped as Cap hammered him down. Well, that's very defiant.
It is very
Bit
defiant.
of goatsy.
Yeah, that's right.
In the face of death.
And that's a cool scene because the Cap comics there's always a moment where there's a big fight and Cap launches himself at the machine gun or whatever it is, and the caption is always along the lines of leaping into the fray, the Sentinel of Liberty knows that no man can handle having his bullets coming back at him, and he pushes through and stuff like that. It's cool stuff.
Too little, too late.
Yes.
And then, here we go. Suddenly, Captain America, shield raised, launched through the air right at the Winter Soldier. He prepared to strike the Winter Soldier, but instead the villain turned with his metal fist, and it clanged against Cap's vibranium shield, sending a shockwave in every direction. They both flew back at the power of the impact. The Winter Soldier... something Cap's shield?
Smashed Cap's shield.
Smashed Cap's shield.
Yes.
They exchanged a flurry of punches, each harder than the one before. The Winter Soldier backed up and pulled out a knife. Cap knuckled up and waved like a big gorilla here.
Yep.
Waved him to bring it. Steve dodged slash after slash, finally kicking the knife away. If only he could dodge the Steve Winter Soldier slash fiction that's out there.
Ah, yes, indeed. Yes.
And then, God, what happens? Brett? What? Blow my mind.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Now you won't be able to imagine this sequence before.
No.
That has
especially
happened.
not the way it's described in this book.
No. So it's revealed that the Winter Soldier is Bucky.
The Bucky.
Bucky.
Holy shit. Bucky, Steve said in awe as he stared into the eyes of his long-lost friend. But something was wrong. It had been 70 years since he'd seen his childhood buddy, but he hadn't physically changed one bit. Who the heck is Bucky? The Winter Soldier asked, looking back at Cap with a blank stare. Holy crap.
Shocking stuff.
Man.
Shocking stuff. No, I didn't expect it. Because I didn't read the comics or any of the interviews about the movie or watch the trailer or...
Yeah, well, look at the fact that Sebastian Stan was cast.
That's right.
And that he was running around in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time anybody said Cap, even just Cap,
Yeah.
even like, can you put the cap back on that? I would just close my eyes, fingers in the ears.
Yep.
La, 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 la,
Yeah.
la, la, I would
Yeah.
say.
And
no matter
I.
where I was.
Yeah, it made it awkward for my job as a
Yep.
bartender.
But it was but it was great because I was
worked well.
very much surprised at this moment. And
Yeah.
just surprised again because in Texas it's a whole different experience.
Indeed.
But was it shocking in the comics when it happened? We were like, now we know.
Yeah, we know now. But at the time, in the comics, it was a really big shock because it was just part of the story.
Yeah.
We had this Winter Soldier guy who was attacking people and he was assassinating all of these guys around the world more than...
Very, very slowly over a period of 50 years.
That's right.
He
Happened
killed one, take a
little
couple
more
of years
quickly.
off.
That's right. And then there was a fight and it was revealed that, hey man, this guy's Bucky. And because it wasn't hyped up or it just happened and it was really mind-blowing. And I think what was really, really shocking is that Marvel Comics for about 20, 30 years always had this sort of motto or this saying that characters, yeah, they die, they'll always come back. The only characters that ever stay dead are Uncle Ben for Spider-Man and Bucky for Captain America.
Gwen Stacy would have been on that list for a
And
while,
Gwen
wouldn't
was
she? Yeah.
for quite a long time, but I won't talk about that because I'll get angry and want to hurt someone.
Has Uncle Ben come back?
Uncle Ben has come back in flashes here and
Yeah.
there.
Come back and flashed people.
That's right. Said, here's your great power right here.
Great power comes great responsibility, Peter.
That's right. But no, not really. No, he's been back in bits and pieces, but we haven't really seen him.
Ghost Ben.
That pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
And now we have this revelation. Now we have so many questions we want answered. We kind of hit a paywall, don't we? It's like, you'd love to know how it's possible that he could be around after 70 years. I know you're dying with questions. You want to know, will our hero defeat the nemesis?
Yep.
But you're going to have to cough up a movie ticket. The fact
time.
that you paid for this book, not enough.
No, doesn't matter.
It doesn't entitle you to an ending.
No way. You don't get to see the third act.
No, we just get this paragraph to sum things up.
Steve couldn't move. Black Widow was injured. Falcon was helping civilians out from under the debris. The police were trying to restore order. Everything was chaos. But Captain America knew one thing. He would see Bucky again, and the next time they met, Steve would get answers.
So shameless of Disney to just cut it off there. Nah, too bad. Oh, except there is one last briefing.
Yes, yeah, just to cap things off.
I don't get it.
Oh, damn.
Briefing number 17, closing statement.
Yes, so...
Should be in a fucking apology. It should be. But no.
Very heartfelt over several pages.
Yes.
Agreed. No, instead what we get is a closing statement from Jasper Sitwell, who says, just remember that you guys reading this are agents, not readers.
Yep,
and you have to report your findings.
Yeah, you have to write a report, it says.
You do. You have to write a report. And it better be good, because Nick Fury's going to read this baby. And if it's not good, he'll put snakes in your plane.
One, he's a villain. This guy telling us what to do is a villain. I'm like, what the fuck? These clowns, they write half a book and then they expect us to write something?
Yeah.
We're like, we're going to fill in the gaps.
That's
We're going to do a...
Right.
You're going to be fucked writing a whole 50% of this thing and you want me to write a report? I got your report right here, pal. You can't see it audio, people are just listening, but you can imagine what I'm doing right now.
Oh, yeah. And it's very hairy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hairy eyeball is what I'm giving them. Giving you, bloody Alison Lowenstein. Lowballstein. Gave me a lowball deal with this fucking book. So, gotta ask a question, which is pretty dopey considering what's just happened. And that question is, was the book better? Was this half a fucking book better than this fantastic film?
No.
No, I agree.
Not at all. And to be fair, even if the book was William Shakespeare-esque in its witticisms
Yes.
and had the plot structure of...
It was actually true to the film.
Yeah. It's still... Nah, come on, man. The movie's... That's one of my top 3 favourite movies, Marvel style. It's just... It's awesome.
It is. Yeah, I agree. It's up there. It's really cool.
And, again, man, now I'm going to get incoherent because I'm so excited.
Yes, please do.
Isn't it just so cool that we are living in a time where we can talk about what our top 3 Marvel Comics movies are.
Yeah, for sure. Like, just the fact that... And there's no slowdown. I mean, the fact that in May we're going to get a Civil War, which is just absolutely packed with characters.
Yep.
And just continues.
Yeah, it's so good. We're living in a golden age.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, no, definitely better, especially when you consider that Sam and Cap are kind of dumb shits in this book.
Yeah, and Cap's a bit of a loser as well. Like, he defeats one person.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the pace that these guys are working at, let's not forget.
Yeah, true. Like,
What if, like, Winter Soldier, he killed, like, 23 people in that first year, and then he, like, just chilled for 49 years, and then he, like, just capped off the 24th. He was like, just when I thought I was out, for 49 years, they bring me back in. So, not a great one.
No.
Let's talk Amazon, Brett. Now, the thing is, Disney does this, and they've done it with quite a few books, and every time you go there, people are complaining about it. Like, so they really do not give a shit.
No.
Like, people are going, there's always a whole handful of reviews where people go, it's incomplete, it doesn't finish, my son was really disappointed because we got this far and then it's ended, and
we felt ripped off, it doesn't end the movie. Yep.
Don't give a shit. They'll keep doing it. They didn't do it with Cars 2. Cars 2, they were like, yeah, fucking look. Anything to get you remotely interested in Cars 2.
That's right. We know you're not going to see it anyway.
Just whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like an example, the story was not complete. The author did a horrible job. That's one of the reviews.
Yep.
So I'm not going to focus on those because that's par for the course with these. I just think that Disney maybe should feel guilty at some point and maybe respond to this, or release the book after the movies come out and just tell the full story. But they need to do something about this. And look, you can do those smaller books for kids which are just about an aspect of a character or activity books or whatever. But don't sell a novelization that's not... I mean, at this time they said, it's the secret files. But it still says the junior novel.
It still says the junior novel.
And if you opened it up, you'd read the dialogue and stuff from the film. And
I was expecting to get an ending. Maybe Secret Files would have been better if they were briefings and here's Captain America and a bit about him, and here's some Peggy, and here's some Winter Soldier, and here's some Bucky, and make it more about the characters. Be honest, and make it about the characters.
Now, this review, I had a little trouble following. See if you can do a better job. If you read the book, you have to watch the movie. I have only read this book once, but now I am reading it again because I love this book so much, and I bet that when you read this book, you are going to love it too. Here is a tip. When you read this book, do not highlight the entire book as you go, because I made that mistake and now I have to go back through the entire book again and unhighlight everything. But if you want to, you can. But still, it is a great book, and I suggest you read it and watch the movie if you haven't already. Hope you enjoy the book as much as I do. Whoa, okay, buddy. Calm down, pal. Shit.
He's got some of that Captain America schizophrenic sort of, I'm jumping out of here to get away from the girl. No, I'm not. Yes, I am.
Really good portrait of the kind of people that read movie novelizations. Here's another one that I need some help. It's called By Matthew. I chose if my friend Quinn ever reads this, I think. He would rate this book. I bet he would rate this as many stars, aka 5. I would only say that ages 6 and up. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one either.
No, I wish he had only said ages 6 and up.
I don't understand this one either. Nice item to encourage our kids to read books. Actually brings a pair of bookmarks. Very cool to use it in everything we can. So, fuck, yeah, I don't follow any of these. And then there's this real gem. The last one, and it's on the bottom, like if you look review by usefulness or whatever, I think it's the last one.
Okay.
It's really long. I can't possibly read it all, but I do suggest you go and track this down, because the opening will intrigue you. Several years ago, my father abruptly quit his job at the Bluebell Creamery in Brenham, Texas, after being caught on camera and falsely accused of having intimate relations with several of the cows during work hours. The entire production line was shut down for a week as they investigated the extent of the damages he and his co-conspirators inflicted on the Southern Peach Cobbler Run. By the time the investigation was complete, law enforcement sought his arrest, but he was long gone with our family. It was while on the freeway heading west that he revealed his life dream of traveling the country about with performing a one-man comic book musical comedy variety show. So this goes on, there's a lot of background, there's a lot of stuff. During his West Coast, this is much later, a few paragraphs down, during his West Coast Avengers phase, he became quite partial to the Captain American character. There were a few times, though, the show literally had to be stopped for weeks as he would lock himself himself in a freezer to reenact the life and times of Captain America. Most people had forgotten about the show and would never return to see him awake from his deep freeze. Those were unsettling times since he literally felt underappreciated as an artist. So this goes on.
You have to admire his dedication to playing the character.
Fiction, yeah, and the last paragraph is, one has to be careful what kind of gifts they can send to loved ones in prison. It wasn't until after I sent the book to him did I find out that he never did a Winter Soldier act in his show. Winter Soldier in the comics did not come out till several years after he was put in prison. Erroneously, I'd supposed that this book was a collection or scrapbook of sorts by one of his adoring fans. Now, I almost wondered if... Now, this is legitimate. I didn't write this or anything like that. This is a real review. You can see it up there. I actually thought for a moment, is this one of our listeners? Is this someone who is seeding Amazon reviews for novelizations, hoping that we will read it out on the show? I did look at the person's profile. They've done a lot of reviews, and a lot of them, there's some odd things in there, but seem to be pretty straight. This seemed to be the ones that it was like really off the rails. So I don't really... I mean, they were all quite articulate and quite so detailed.
This is the one where he's got a story to tell.
But this is the one which is sort of all over the place. So it's better than the book, basically.
It is. It's interesting. Well, this is all about a great American hero.
So if the question was the book better, I think this review of the book was better than the book. This is a really good one. So
that's great.
Thank you very much to the person that wrote that one.
Brilliant.
All right, Brett. That's the show. That is it. I'll do some quick plugs, and then you may do some plugs. Unless you're the guest. Why don't you do some plugs first?
My blog's kind of petered out for a little while, but that's Comic Book Evangelist at WordPress. And I'm currently doing a bit of writing for a UK podcast network, Geek Syndicate.
Yeah.
So go to geeksyndicate.co.uk. And I've got some articles up there about the Easter eggs in the Avengers movies and a little bit about Captain America and just some other comics bits and pieces.
So yes, definitely check that out. And please listen to the other Fruitless Pursuits shows. FP Cast, Fruitless Pursuits Cast, which is our general pop culture one, is every week. That's just interesting. I'm really happy with that show. Really enjoying the shit out of that at the moment. We get to talk about all sorts of pop culture things. We review films. Check that out. ScarJo A Go-Go will have an episode soon for Age of Ultron. Awesome. So I think that'll be this month. And for our Patreon subscribers, we'll probably do an extra little bit of something this month as well. Probably an episode of BWB TV, because we've got some interesting books piling up, including some X-Files and all sorts of things. And you can find out everything we're doing at fruitlesspursuits.com or geekvision.tv. But I really urge people, if you would like to join the discussion, to come to our Facebook group. And we're always chatting about stuff there and sharing things. And it's often a way where people talk about sorts of things they'd like us to talk about on the show. And it's a really good community. And for Perth people, we've actually even gone out and done some things together with a couple of those people. So it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
So yeah, thanks so much again, Brett.
Thank you. It's always an
pleasure.
absolute pleasure
I really
for me.
enjoyed the, did not like this book, but I enjoyed the hell out of the show. So
Thank you. Me too.
Hopefully everybody
company.
else did as well. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks.
You want to say the thing?
I will indeed. We will catch you on the flips.
Jumanji.